the scene, it's your host TTP. We're flying high in the crypto sky, just you and me. From Bitcoin rush to Ethereum, we trading all the coins. Hit the Trading Parrot, be making that joyful noise. We got bots, we got plots, charts on the big screen. 3 comments to Wick, Hunter with a trading machine. Laughing all the way to the bank, it's a fun parade. With every trade we made, watch how we get paid. TTP's got the formula, flipping coins like a spatula. In the crypto game, with the vernacular, spectacular. From the morning to the night, we're streaming with the light. Join the Trading Parrot, we'll teach you how to fight. Dive into the charts, the RSI, liquidity at a glance, trends on the rise. We never leave it up to chance. Trading tools of the champion breed. With AI and math, we're planting the money seed. Laugh with us, trade with us, ain't no looking back. You're with the parrot now, leading the pack. Alpha profits, snap plus with the crypto law. TTP's on the mic and he's ready to soar. TTP's on the mic and he's ready to soar. TTP's got the formula, flipping coins like a spatula. In the crypto game with a vernacular, spectacular. From the morning to the night, we're streaming with the light. Join the Trading Parrot, we'll teach you how to fight. Dive into the charts.
Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. We are less than half an hour now to the release of the reports, core inflation rates, and later today as well, we got coming in Powell testimony again today on Wednesday. And in my opinion, these reports are the most important of the week. So we should be expecting some movement additional to the flatness that we've been experiencing for the last past 7 days. So in today's video, what we're gonna be doing is in this last 25 minutes prior to getting the final reading on the forecast, we're gonna review how we are approaching this meeting as usual, looking at indicators, looking at how we are positioned in this important economic data. I am in a long at the moment, so I'm going to comment on that as well. We're going to review some news. We got very little time. And after we get the reading, if we see some volatility, we're going to cover the price action. I'll give you my take on how I see things are evolving. Of course, write down comments down below. The more loud, the more noisy you are in the comments, hitting the like, and sharing the video with other people, the more you help the channel. So I really appreciate if you can do that for me. Let's get started. And as you can see, there is now 25 minutes for the report. That it's at 1:30 time in the UK. We are approaching this meeting with record lows of retail. That means that the interest in Bitcoin at the moment is extremely low. And I was checking before starting the stream that we were at 85 in January in 2021, the equivalent time in the cycle, and we have a depression to around 40. Let me go back into this zoom mode so we get to 40. So that was a half, kind of it reduced in half, and from 88 it went to 42, slightly below half in the middle of the same year, but this is around April. Of course, we are in February, but if we wanted to compare this drawdown now from 65, if we went to half, that should be 32, but instead of that, we are at 24. So again, below that half that you get in the middle of the year, but this time a little bit earlier. If that was to play out, that could be an alpha in terms of the interest on Bitcoin. If we were to have that depression of interest in the middle of the year, this is the time because we have already corrected all of that. I wanted also to show you some comment from Brett asking when is quantitative easing going to happen. And everybody's talking about this and everybody's saying we're going to get it very soon. But here's some take on whether we are going to get it or not. It's just the opinion of someone else. I'm just going to share it. QE comes when we are in a recession. Let me see if I can get the comments. So I want to confirm that you can hear me properly. You should be able to hear me. Otherwise, I will be seeing loads of comments complaining. As usual, sometimes I make mistakes. And when inflation is low, or we are in a financial crisis, or the unemployment is high, or the interest rates are low. And the current market is quite the opposite, not currently in a recession. It depends how we measure recession, right? There's a thin line there for many people. We perceive, the perception is we are in recession, but according maybe to certain metrics, economic metrics, macro, maybe we are not. Inflation is sticky around 3%. The stock market and Bitcoin are near all-time highs. Unemployment rate is 4% and trending down, contrarian to increasing, getting you into trouble where the Fed could be forced to cut the rates. Interest rates have 2+ more cuts to go before the Fed is complete. And here is the interesting chart where it shows that they cut rates during the blue areas, and they do it either because there is a market crash on the S&P, or the red line, which I believe is after the Fed is done cutting rates. So that is the rates line. So they increase, and when they are done and they finally enter into easing with the rates, then you get that recession and the cuts. And the third one is the unemployment rate being very high. And as you can see in here, we are not very high. So that is basically something I just wanted to bring to you to share it. There are many hot stories at the moment, but the one that I'm more interested in, it resonates more with my alpha, is altcoins hardly sold off as the Fed is casting doubt over future rate cuts. And I kind of resonate with this. I kind of agree, because yesterday there was the testimony, and with the meeting with Powell, there was not that much of a sell-off. And I also covered that Bitcoin couldn't break yet the lows of my entry around 95.2. I think it went to 94.7, and this time it couldn't break that. I will have to double check if that has happened. No, we are still there. So that's interesting to me, that after Powell told so many bearish things, and in my opinion, one interpretation of this is the shorts being exhausted, and we should be seeing a lot more dramatic correction, in my opinion, with what we heard yesterday. I agree with that, and not seeing it, it's something to take into account. Liquidity in China is increasing. So that it's something that I haven't mentioned in a while. I want to make sure that you're keeping track of that. Probably I mentioned it around early January that it was increasing, and I have forgotten to mention it. Liquidity going higher in China is positive. It spreads across everywhere. It's a huge market. M2, it's holding in here, the double bottom, and the Fed is reducing their balance sheet, which is not great. Aggregated open interest is in the perfect position right now to take a screenshot and say, whoa, just need the aggregated open interest to regain slightly more than 28.6 billion, and we re-enter the range. And that is a buy signal by itself. Of course, we need confluence. It's something I'm monitoring, and I find really cool that we are right there, ready for the picture. And if we re-enter, we could repeat the potentially, okay, nothing is guaranteed in trading, but we could re-enter in here, and that could be the signal that everybody's expecting to go to the top. Oh, today went to the doctor. Crazy story. They gave me 3 different addresses. This NHS, I don't want to complain in the live stream because I'm going to get in trouble. I'm not supposed to criticize anything. But anyways, it was really frustrating. I still don't get my prescription, and I cannot recover, which sucks because you keep seeing me coughing and all that stuff. But anyways, tough situation. Capitulation signal from hash ribbons. It's got a bull cross that happened on the 6th of February, last Thursday. That's why we got the green bubble there. and the MAs are coming back for a potential bearish cross. This has happened in the previous time. So we got the bull, the bear, and the bull and the bear. We got the signals 4 times in a row, and eventually you get the buy. And the buy is when it's consolidated, mouth open, and it's tracking as well the hash rate. So it's not just the price action. This thing tracks 2 things in a row. So I'm covering that. I'm looking into that. That's very important. Let's see the 4-hour, because this is my sniper entry chart, and we had the breakout that was looking good up until Tuesday. Then I mentioned I can tolerate re-entering in the previous range. The things that are bearish, that is that we are below the previous range, that we are facing it as resistance at the moment. We could rally slightly higher into 53. 53 is still resistance, and at the moment is in confluence with 97.2. So we can continue with this move, but bear in mind that rallying up until 97 is still resistance. So we need to go beyond 97 now to reclaim the bullishness of this move. Things that are okayish is we broke up to 58 from 48, and then from 46 we broke down to 36. So I see it as a symmetrical thing. So we have clear liquidity at the very close top and at the very close bottom, and that is just a consequence of the ranging. So in my opinion, this still is not telling me the truth, the real direction of the potential breakout. So I'm looking into other things. We're going to have to look into other things. 4 hours is really crappy at the moment to make a decision. Yesterday, we just continue doing the same thing as the past 7 days. What time is it? So still 15 minutes to go. We broke down back below the point of control, and you can see why it makes sense on the 4-hour to go into resistance as well. If we rally and we go up until 97, more or less a little bit below, this is just resistance. Again, that's the point of control, and that's where the longs and the shorts are having a huge argument, whether we go to 91 and we see rejection from the middle, from where most of the volume is, or we reclaim it like we did on Monday, but we failed, and we go to the top of the range. At the moment, that is 103.6. And on the other side, again, it cannot tell us much. It's just literally glued to the PNR, to the percentile, the lowest value, and just not moving from there. So we need to decide, do we go to the bottom or to the top? And I'm in a long, and I'm kind of stubborn with the idea that we have to go eventually to the liquidity at the top. We've been bouncing for weeks. Yeah, that's totally truth. Even on the weekly, we are just bouncing. We've been ranging from mid-November all the way to mid-February. That's 3 months of just doing between low 90s into 110, 20K range. And now we are at the bottom of the range with an M pattern 90% completed. So we have very little hoping here to not complete the target technical of the 80K. But these kind of technical targets, I always challenge them. And I don't necessarily challenge the fact that we could go below 90s. I'm interested in buying at 88. But the thing I challenge is going really straight into 80. I only see that possible if general markets have a huge, huge pullback right now. We're going to cover a little bit. If I'm quick enough, I can cover the general markets because I saw some things that were interesting there as well. Let's go very quick. Let's remove all the fat. This is not something that we need to know now. Distributions, no, everything is the same as yesterday. We got 3 out of the 4 last days of trading days on the ETFs on Bitcoin. We have negative flows. We are at the moment at 46, so we are approaching the event in fear. We got a warning buy, so that is good for the context as well. And long-term holders are slowly, very slowly reducing their holding. Not that much, but very slowly reducing. And let's go into the juicy bits before we get the reading, which is liquidity, right? So this is annoying, okay? Because the liquidity that we hit to enter in our position that went all the way to 98, then we saw that weakness at that point, and here's what happened. When we were at 98.4, there was barely one single line of red. And I say that is not attractive enough for the market maker just to go by himself and say, no, I cannot miss that. But as we were coming down, and particularly when we enter the area of 94.9, which was about to take that single line of liquidity, many longs enter right there, many longs. And those longs have been responsible of pushing the price into 96.4. So we cannot argue, oh, why you didn't tell us there was a lot of liquidity? Because that liquidity was generated at 7 p.m. roughly on the 11th of February. And so far, it has produced this triangle in here, which I'm a little bit worried because I said initially it was a double bottom formation. Now it's looking like a triangle that could continue and flash down. And that is possible. We are very close now to this liquidity. It was the same size as this. So be aware of a pinch into 94.5, 94. It's easy. It's not that difficult. So if you have your risk there, think about it. There's a possibility that we take that. And looking at the last 30 days, you can see that on CoinGlass, we can confirm that this is quite heavy and very close to the price. So price could go down. Then it needs to decide if it wants to go beyond 93.7 or and wants to then tackle the upper liquidity, which now we have a level interesting at 99, around 99. Then we have one at 100.6, followed by 102.7, and then finally 106.5. And we also have one there almost at 108. But these are the ones that I care about for the event in case we get some sort of zigzag continuation with what we've been doing in the past days, which is just ranging. If we exit from one end, we need to look at the longer term liquidity. If we really exit this range, exiting opportunities for exiting if there's something really bullish or something really bearish. Bullish, or people shrug it off and don't really mind because everything is priced in, let's say, and we just want to take that 94, and maybe then we are done and we start going into 108 or all the red that there is in there. If there's something bearish that really takes by surprise the market and crashes general markets, we could go to the 88, 89, which I am interested in adding to my position at that point. That's where I'm saving my volume to potentially trade it. We approach the event with 74% of longs liquidated. We have here a spike in longs that I mentioned, I think, possibly this morning or last night, that went to 70 global longs and short accounts in longs that trigger a buy signal. If this is in confluence with price going down, that typically signals reversal. And it happened around the moment where the price was at 94.9. So we are now well ahead of that, almost 2K up. So it's no longer a buy signal, but it was. And it shows you that they were really aggressively entering at that point, thinking, well, I'm getting the best entry at the moment. And the delta is 250, putting the shorts at risk. And let's look at the ask versus bid. All this area in here, we get another reading that is telling us that all this area, since we went to 94.9, it has been controlled by the bulls. We could say it reached 0.10, which is not extreme in terms of buying, but it is more than all the selling that we were having on our way to 98.5 a day ago. Let's see what we can find in FAR charts. QE will send the alts, but I'm reading the comments above, and let's see the monthly, how we are approaching this. And we got some support in here coming in. That was the buying on this dip recent that we had at 94.9. That was 56 million. And we have 23 million now of resistance at 96.6. And after that, there is an interesting vacuum. Let's also notice that the selling pressure at 102 has been pulled out. Then the 40 million at 100 has reduced to 35, which is something. And the support at 93 was apparently shift into 95 when the price was coming down. So there's something to note, right? But on the side of the whales, the largest pockets, I'm not really seeing that much, apart from the browns that had a spike in here on the weekly chart. The purples seem to be non-existent in the past week. Like they don't really enter any trade, which I'm currently missing them, because those are the ones that give us the act like a leading indicator for the rest, and we try to mimic them. But how can we mimic them if they're not doing anything? The only explanation I have, if this now starts going up and we go into 100K, is that they are fragmenting their orders into very small orders and acting and pretending to be one of these 100 to 1000, which the other day I called them losers, because they're not doing anything. They're flat, really flat. Look at the previous range. So something is going on there. Either is manipulation or the actual platform is broken. Let's look at the order book here on Trading Light, and we got some resistance at 101 that's still there, contrarian to what FAR charts is showing us. But the 105, yes, it's been reduced from 600 to 300, and this is now 700, and it's been before 800 and 700, and now is 7 and 7. So it hasn't changed that much. That 101 resistance is just sticky there, not going anywhere. Support relative to the one when I enter. Let me think. Was this the 3rd of February? When did I enter? We went to, no, this is too late. This went to 102. Somewhere in here I enter, and we went to 98. Yes, the one at 91 had a lot of support. Now we don't have that much support. But remember that they pulled out this. When we look at the 5 minutes, it really didn't get executed. Most of the time, they're just bluffing. At 78, we have this 958, which they keep endlessly. And I don't know if they're going to get that lucky to fill it. Fair value gaps, we have paved the way to the top in fair value gaps. So that is good. That this doesn't guarantee a move up, but it makes it a lot smoother, right? If we start the sign to go up, we could fill this one and get almost to 98, or then we can tackle the 101, which is resonating with liquidity as well. Or we got this thick one that goes up until 104. Below the price, nothing, unless we really do a full capitulation in here. And let me do a quick calculation of this. Yeah, I mean, it's reachable, I will say, in case there is enough motivation to go there. Let's look at the gold. I want to see the gold because I had a signal that was telling me that roughly around here, I was doing a metric with the RSI 77 telling me that around 3 point something was going to be the top for gold. Now we're getting this weekly candle that it's not necessarily going to be the top, but it looks like a top information in there. And people are saying that if gold tops there, that should shift into Bitcoin, and potentially Bitcoin could mimic that rally. On the VIX, we are closer to the bottom of the range rather than the top, and that calls usually for volatility and a little bit more of a painful move. NASDAQ is sorry about that. NASDAQ is stuck at the 22, and S&P is stuck at the 6.1 more or less, and that is, because they are still waiting for resolutions during this week, I guess. And with the resolution of these two, we could be seeing also a decision on the side that altcoins and Bitcoin is going to take. Let's see if we have some pre-market. Google is slightly below 1 point, Apple more or less flat, the same as the closing price. And we get here Nvidia still facing the resistance of the 21 weekly. Amazon, same price as the closing price. Tesla losing the 21 weekly and 3 points below the closing price. And Palantir is just there at 1 point below. Microsoft, it's now with a signal hive pointing to a correction to 370. So, and the pre-market is just the same as yesterday. So I don't think any insider has at the moment any information. The market is not yet taking a decision, and that's why Bitcoin is just ranging and hitting each side, and that's all it can do until we get the actual reading. How much do we have until we get the results? That it's coming in 2 minutes. And let's see a few questions. Let's take some questions from here. I should start from, yep. Hi, Kevin. Let's go, Mariano. Curious to see what will happen today. Never caught alive, but this music is hilarious. Yeah, I'm gonna continue using this music until I have time to produce or buy a new one. If you wanna make one for me, send it to me. My email is in the about in YouTube. I can listen to it and maybe put it. That will, save me the hassle of having to do one. It took me a half a day to do it, by the way. In how much time is the CPI data out? And now in about 1 minute. So we can be refreshing this. I got it there. We should talk about the forecast. So prior core inflation rate was 0.2 and the forecast is 0.3. 3.2 prior on the year on year, expecting it to go lower. So whatever the price is currently doing is pricing in something. And if this diverts too much from the forecast, that is where we can see that extreme volatility. If it's just the same or very close, then I will expect really not that much to happen. Inflation rate, month on month is 0.3, in year on year is 2.9 the forecast. So that's another reduction on the month on month. And actually, the core inflation rate is expected to increase to 0.2 to 0.3, whereas the month on month to reduce. That's interesting. Can we get the readings? If anyone gets the readings from any other source, just share them in the chat. And remember, if you want me to review any altcoins after that, we can also do it. Compare inflation rate to trueflation. Perhaps it will give alpha. Let's have a look at trueflation. That's a great point. I hope this is the website. I always see it in other channels. I never search for the actual. So this one is showing 2.11. Sorry, 207. It's showing us as going down. 3.0, bad. All right, so let's go back and see the actual reading. actual 3.3 and 3.0. So that's increasing. And the forecast was to keep this one flat and this one to reduce, but it went to 0.5, the inflation rate month on month. So let's go and let's see what price action is doing at the moment. Some people are saying, guys, chill the hell out, lol. I'm chilled, by the way. I'm always chill with the price action. I get stressed with other things in life, but price action doesn't really do me much. DXY pumping hard. And why on earth? Page unresponsive. Oh, perfect timing. Let's wait for this to come back. And let's see if I'm going to be able to continue with this. For some reason, it's not loading. Index. Let me go to the indexes. And people say that it's pumping hard. It's at 108.4, and gold seems to be putting some sort of shooting star, a topping candle, and the VIX is bouncing from that support of 16. So we should be seeing a volatility. And yes, the resistance is currently acting. Remember, we've been in other live streams and we've seen the first initial move to be a fake out. And I have to mention that because, people tend to think, okay, that's where we're going. Let's start selling. Of course, that is your call. You can do whatever you want. But I have to make you aware that typically with these reports, the first move tends to be the wrong one. And let's go into additional data. I seem to be running out of memory in here because things are very slow in my computer. Let's look in the meantime into something that is responding. Let's see if they're placing new orders in here. Maybe in the 15-minute. Oh, wow, that was fast. Yeah, that's a move from 96.4 into 94.7. And that is actually taking the low of yesterday when we went to 94.7. So it's slightly below that, but it already pinched liquidity. And these orders that were here interested in buying have been pulled out. Let's see if some support is coming in. The selling in here also got reduced. Let's see how the order book is shifting. The bidding has increased to 16. That is substantial. That is, by the way, that's bullish. Not a signal, not to just trade it directly, but is always better to have a lot of bidding rather than a lot of asking at these levels. Funding rates are in the positive and longs remain at the highs. Okay, so that is interesting. So when the longs are at the very high and the price has come down and you're reaching kind of a bottom, they tend to signal reversal to the upside. But if there is a big crash in the market, all these longs act as well as something risky. You get loads of longs to get liquidated. So hopefully what they're doing, they are on the right side of the market. I am on that side at the moment. I think we are going to take this. Let's refresh. People are saying they're eating it up. 530 watch and only 130 likes. Hit the like. Yes, guys, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, there is very little retail, and views and everything is coming down. So look how close we are to this liquidity up until 93.7. I think it's going to be very difficult that they don't take it. Well, as I told you, I gave you the pattern here, and I say that it's very unlikely that we leave that on the table. In the morning, I was suspicious of this double bottom formation. I will have told you, we have a double bottom, let's enter right here, but we have the liquidity below, and, the flag on the 15 minutes spans to pretty much 93K. Liquidity, though, reduces at 93.6 significantly, but you could go there, okay? If you focus on this side, let me see. If I put this like that, you should be able to see it better because I'm covering it. So this reduces and reduces. So the lower the price goes, the less incentive to go lower. Of course, I'm not going to add. This is my entry price. I mean, I'm slightly below this at around 95.2. I think I shared that number publicly with the entry. Some people are at 94.8, which is great, but you're going to get into your break even very soon. So depending on your risk management plans, at this point, either you stop loss if we go beyond what you can tolerate. You need to decide that stop loss. I'm not going to tell you where to place the stop loss because that's literally related to how you manage your own things. But downside from here, so if this doesn't hold, if market maker is not going for this, then we got mild liquidity at the low 90s. And the area that is really big in pain is if we go to 88, to all this area in here. That is where, really I want to buy big at that point, followed by the CME gap at 77. And then I can build a nice, really large position that, much better than this one, because this one rallying it to 98 wasn't that big. We are now at 94.2, and I hope my computer now is dealing better with the memory. Yes, I can see this is now in 0.15, and funding rates haven't changed really. And I'm hoping that the delta increases significantly so we get a larger probability of a reversal. So at the moment, it's still at 250. I suppose it hasn't really updated. And the red is gone. Okay, so that big close proximity liquidation motivation is gone, and now it starts becoming a little bit less interesting for them, again, unless we're going way deeper. Any altcoins, guys, that you want me to review? Yummy liquidity. If I didn't go to the doctor, I would have taken that short, but I don't like trading and leaving the trade for a short term and then being busy and not being able to look at it. Hit the like, my friends. It doesn't take anything. Yes, I really appreciate if you can hit the like. And I'm still chasing you guys if you want me to review any altcoin. We broke 94. Yes, it's true, Jose. Dumping as we speak. Okay, let's review Ethereum and XRP. Those are great ones. I recently did that in-depth video. You should watch it. Let's review XRP. So XRP on the weekly, not much has changed really. My support is around 195. That's the area of value for me. That comes from the support of the weekly trend line in here. That is protecting the move up to continue. Of course, closing below this, then I will consider to exit if we lose this, because the rally is protected by this uptrend from RSI 57. RSI 57, I remember it right, is more or less 190. But XRP at the moment is at the top of the cross-fit ratio on the weekly, which is worrying, and you have a heck of a lot of longs there. I suspect those are the people from the army that are all bullish as hell. And I think I cover liquidation levels on XRP, and they are a few below $2. So we could go there and hit them, and that could be the next move. And I wouldn't count on it, but if we get there and we liquidate them, that could be a sweet re-entry around the area of support, intra-candle, weekly, week in below that support, and then regaining it. That could call for another leg similar to the two that we have in here. Ethereum, let's do a quick, wow, ugly. Okay. I laugh myself because every time I look at this descending wedge, I have to reaccumulate it to allow for Ethereum to do even worse and even worse. It's just funny. We should not lose this line of 2.5. That is calling for even losing the 2-1. Okay, on a weekly basis. Of course, we are just on Wednesday, so we have time to reclaim 2.6, but being below this is not good. The way I'm monitoring a breakout from Ethereum is I'm looking on the weekly on this trend line, and you know how much I like the to trade when we are in a channel down. We have a breakout, we lose the breakout, and then I like to trade this move up into resistance. But for that, we need to first confirm a breakout above RSI weekly of 44 from where we are. Otherwise, this could continue bleeding below this line and then break out from way lower. So if you're conservative, waiting for that breakout on the weekly is better. I cannot give you numbers because it's going to take some weeks possibly. And if it does, that resistance is going to move. So just remember to put this line on any RSI on the weekly, and then set an alert on the line itself. You take it, you select it, and then you hit this alert, and that's how you can send an alert when the weekly RSI crosses that. Let's review other coins. We can have a look at AVAX. AVAX, sure, let's do AVAX. Oh my god, it lost another level. This is really devastating for the altcoins, but contrarian to XRP, AVAX is at the getting to the bottom of the range of longs and shorts. So I don't think these shorts are gonna get away with pushing this that much lower. So I think AVAX is gonna enter in an area of value very close to this. I don't expect the shorts to really go all the way like this. They're already being called out by my upper percentile line, telling me that somewhere around here we should see a bounce and the longs coming back in. Levels I'm looking on support is the weekly 40 on AVAX, and yeah, I really don't want to lose the level of 23.6 on a weekly basis. Taking that low kind of damages all this move up, right? Because I still have the target there, right? Everything broke 10 days ago with the collapse of Ethereum. The flag broke in here and is trying to break that support of 24. If we close on a weekly basis there, then the structure is bearish again for AVAX. And I don't think there's anything wrong with AVAX. It's just the market that is crap. Let's look at Ondo. if something significant is happening behind the scenes and I'm not seeing it on Bitcoin, please let me know in the comments. Yes, we can also look into Sol. I'm gonna check Sol just in a second. And Ondo. All right. So Ondo is having a tough time here, regaining 137. That was the highest close of May 2024. And we have some targets in here that are bullish, but unfortunately, we need to reaccommodate this for having lost one level in the ladder. So this was support 112, and we pinch it. Now this one in there is the lowest we've been, which is 0.9. And the closing prices on the weekly are still doing higher lows in this area. Okay, so it's looking slightly better in that sense than when we look at Avalanche. But we need to recover the 137. We don't go anywhere without putting a weekly candle slightly beyond 1.4 to start targeting the 163 and the $2 psychological level. Putting a close below 112, actually below 121, because that's the lowest close there. That is really pointing for lower levels. And you can see in my chart the lower levels. We got 112, 90, 72, and 59. And we were going to do Solana. Let's do Solana. How many are we today in total? We are less than 1,000 people. A few weeks ago, we were 3,000. What happened to retail? Well, they got all liquidated. With Ethereum going to 2,000, everything literally, got wiped out. All the altcoins, everything still follows Ethereum in that sense. And let's look at Solana. So Solana had a task, and I gave it a task last week, and Solana didn't do it. I said, Solana, hold 200, and then we talk, okay? If you cannot hold 200, it's just a waste of time. We had a weekly close below 200, and now we have another red candle in here, and we are putting at risk the 180. If you watch my previous altcoin video, which I think I cover XRP, Ethereum, Solana, watch it. Really do. Because I show all the liquidation levels on Solana and how much downside there is based on that. I don't remember the precise levels, but I think there was something around 150, 160 that was pretty heavy. So keep an eye for that, because that will look like this. It will look like a pinch again of this symmetrical triangle. And hopefully, if we do that, it's going to be in an elegant way. I call it like a wick to the downside and then get bought up and back to the upside. But if you start sticking around in here at the 150, then things can start looking worse for Solana. And this is all TA based on general markets doing something bad. So I'm really interested to see now what general markets are doing. Let me go into indexes again. And is it cooling down? Was it an overreaction? That's what I'm looking for. I don't see NASDAQ going that far away today. Let's go into the daily. Wait a second. Are the markets open? We still have pre-market. Okay, so it won't move there. Pre-market, Google is down. Apple is down 1 point. 1 point for Nvidia. Amazon, 3 points. Tesla, 4 points. In Palantir, 2 points. So not that big of a reaction, really. So let's see Bitcoin again. Are we putting a higher low? I'm looking for that on the RSI, and the price putting a lower low. So that could turn into a bullish divergence, but we have 2 hours to go. And now we need to deal with the resistance of 96 roughly. So in all this trading range in the 4 hour, that was holding. Let's do it a bit better. So that is support, 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 resistance, resistance, move up to 96.6 and then back down. So if we come back up, first level to look at is 95.8. That is really important. And we are at 94.8, so I'm in the negative at the moment, like around $400, and hoping that if we really go lower, that we get to 88. So the worst thing for me now is not picking a great entry for my additional volume. So let's say we just go to 93 and I'm planning to enter at 91. I don't want to repeat the same mistake as last time that I entered with one order and then my second one was $50 away from getting filled. So this time I'm going to be a little bit more flexible and paying more attention on how the indicators are looking like, because when you try to be sometimes too perfectionist and get that order to shine in your CV that you really nailed it, is definitely not great in the long run, because you keep missing entries to add volume at the right times and you call that level but you are $50 away, then you deserve a slap in the face, right? You wasted all the time and effort to do the analysis and then you didn't enter. Price doesn't seem to be doing that much. We have a spike in volume, which means that we have hit quite a bunch of people. And yes, that's true. We hit all the red and we have now the yellow. And price needs to decide whether it's going to go for that yellow or not. Last time we did, we took all yellow. So if we were to go and take that, we should go at least until 93.5. Do not take that as okay, I'm gonna put my order at 93.5 and then you don't go there. If you want to enter around this area, don't look for them 100 perfection. You just say, okay, roughly here, maybe another one there or something like that. If you don't want to enter here and you're waiting for way lower, then don't do anything. Let's see if there are further questions. Solana, we already did it. We could do Chainlink. That I like Chainlink. And Sui. I think I owe you guys Sui. So let's do Sui and Link. Link, I have it here. Futures drop after inflation data. 70% down from initial investment or from total profits. I don't know what you mean by that. So let's focus on Link. And Link was supposed to hold my $19. Oh, am I in the weekly? Yeah, I am. Let's remove this. It's distracting. So Link was supposed to hold the $20. That was the job for Link. Now because it didn't, is putting lower lows relative to that 19 that we closed on mid-January. And we pinched this line more or less there. That is kind of support. Of course, it's not horizontal, but it is support. On the RSI, that is a breakdown, unfortunately. So Link has taken here a bullet at the moment. We need to see how it behaves relative to reclaiming this, or if we see a rejection at 52 on the weekly and then further downside. Hopefully not, but it's not looking great on the RSI. And compared to XRP and Solana, this one is getting closer to shorts being exhausted. At the moment, it's at 43. If it gets to 35, then they won't get that much downside if it continues to flip everybody into the shorts. And the next one was Sui. Oh, let me give you a few more levels. So, so we lost the 19. What does that mean? I'm trying to think the questions that you probably have. If we reclaim 19, that is bullish. So at the moment, this is now resistance. So expect 19 to push us lower. But if we get to 19 and somehow we manage to close a weekly above, let's say $21, that is quite bullish, because this area in here sold from 19 to 8. Big move, right? And not doing that again is bullish. In here, we are trapping shorts at the moment. Everybody's going short, and you can see how this is coming down. So more shorts, more shorts, more shorts, more shorts. And if you push slightly higher, you start, stabbing them. They start being in pain, uncomfortable, and then they start closing force close positions with stop losses, account liquidations, or just break even people. And if that happens at 20, then you get upside. But if we don't go beyond that, then there is no paying for those shorts, and we could carry on adding more shorts. Let's go with Sui. My God, this was a great call. I insisted so much, and I got so much pushback on this one, but it was right. Not all the time I'm right, but it was right. We are just mimicking the previous performance of the RSI, the rolling over, the breakdown, the retest. The retest is there. We have a channel now down, and we have a pivot, and we haven't confirmed it this week. If we close up, that is our pivot. If we close down, we still don't have a pivot. If you don't have a pivot, we don't know where to place this line. If we get the pivot, then we can start talking about a rally into resistance towards 63. And that is the first resistance. I'm not even talking about going to 92. That's out of the question, in my opinion. Yeah, maybe we can get into 75s at some point later in this cycle, but 92, forget it. Also, if I tell you how high is 92 in price, it's out of the chart. That takes Sui to 29.8, basically, from here. If we go straight into the RSI of 92, no, it's out of the question. Just no. If we go into the resistance, more realistic, according to this channel, it's getting to 63. So 63, let's see if that makes more sense. And that is a rally into 4.7. So it will be lovely to see a rally from here into that resistance, not just because that is higher, but because that could potentially bring the price back inside this range. Watch out for this resistance, though, at the point of contact. If this goes up straight away this week, it's at 3.7. Next week is at 3.9, and so on. If it takes a few months, maybe 4.5, but watch out for that line. And remember that this RSI is a moving target, so you need to track that. You cannot just take away the 4.8. Come back later if you want me to do another analysis of Sui later, but at the moment we are rallying against resistance on Sui. We lost that level. We are kind of in this state, like technically speaking, not in the cycle. Of course, it's different now. We are in the cycle where Bitcoin is supposed to top. We are supposed to get altcoin season. We are overdue on that. But at this point in time, you can see we had the breakout and we have the first initial green candle. We are repeating that kind of behavior now in there. So this could drag down if we don't get altcoin season. If we get altcoin season, then we can use, this upside. And I got higher targets actually, but we can discuss on those later once we see some recovery. And let me see, today we're gonna get another chop tomorrow, and dominance rises from the ashes to slap the meme coin holder again. Yeah, that's true. Let me see what coins I'm missing. I did Sui. Should I do HBAR? Many HBAR fans in here I can see, or haters. Maybe they are hating their bag. Let's see what is this. So we had in here my last call. And my last call was basically, most likely I said we need to defend 25, and we closed the weekly below 25. We held the volume weighted moving average, so that was still last week on the bullish side of things relative to that moving average, but this week we are losing it. So we are going to have to do some work in here to look for what can be the actual bottom if this week we close with this red candle. If we go back above the weekly moving average and we reclaim 25, then we are in a great position there to start talking about higher targets. And remember that this is an M pattern, and this M pattern, sometimes I love this setup, which has a technical target from top to the neck, has a technical target of 009, which is ugly. That's the area of February and March. Support should be at 12.6 though, but I think if we reclaim 25, we do the opposite setup, which I also like. You get an M pattern or you get an inverse head and shoulders, and you start breaking down, and you have that technical target, and everybody's counting on that or entering late, and then suddenly push up, and you re-enter the range above 25, and you take a new high. So let's see how we are doing with the longs and shorts to make that achievable, or otherwise we're just dreaming. So when the price was at the highs, the first high of 40 cents, everybody was long. Okay. So what do you expect? At that point, people took profits and shorts enter. And then everybody went short. And now we have more shorts than in January 2023. Okay. This is the lowest level of shorts. And the PNR is saying that that bottom is at 33. But since this tracks 150 candles back in time, this could meet with it maybe later in the middle of the year. I hope not. That's going to be painful to wait for that. But that is basically what we need to do. We need to reclaim 20. We can use this extreme level of shorts in our favor to invalidate the technical target of 009 on HBAR. And on the area of RSI, on HBAR, I have here some speculative moves. I suspect I put this before we actually, let's do it with a line. From here, let's assume that for now, that is our pivot. And let's assume that we can eventually get a rally. And a rally into resistance is 65. I always like to check first what is a rally into resistance. A rally into resistance is 31, 32 cents, more or less, 32 cents. And that could still drag, inside the channel, because if you get into resistance, this can throw you down and you can continue like you did in this area there. But of course, if you break out from here, from 65, you can put a higher high and get maybe to the PNR level of 82. Because we have a massive move into 91. So that was really bullish. I will expect the bulls to be still stick around here and reclaim the bullishness of this halfway through this crash. So I'm going to call for this being a value area between 15 and 21. I seriously don't think we can get to 009, but that is my opinion. And don't mimic me without doing your own research. Let's see the rest of the comments. Got plenty of comments. Ethereum, we already reviewed it. That helps. Like the button. Yes, thanks guys for liking. Should we do Litecoin? Because I think it was looking pretty good. Pretty good. Let's do LTC, USDT. Unfortunately, recently they removed Litecoin from my source that I use on TradingView on the SOPR. So I cannot find SOPR readings of Litecoin. Therefore, I cannot find bottoms and tops when people are selling at a loss. That's very disappointing that they remove it from the free tier. Litecoin is at 100. I haven't done TA in a very long time. I remember I used to put these lines with dotted lines. Let's do it from scratch. We got to 134 all-time high. This is from 2021 past cycle, previous cycle 366. So we got a higher high 14. Let's remove this guy. We are holding the volume weighted moving average. So Litecoin is doing great during this tough period in general for the market. Relatively is performing better than others. We got a potential symmetrical triangle in here. Let's do it correctly without rushing too much. And I will suspect that the RSI is already saying something. And it is, okay? Wow, LTC is performing really great. I think I have some LTC. I should have. So breakout was in August. Since then, it's been in a channel up. And recently, on the 3rd of February, we pay a visit to the weekly support. That was during this sell-off that got bought up incredibly quickly. You know, we went to $80, and in the same week, we closed at 107. Of course, that is a sell-off from 146. How much is that? Is 45% down. But right now, we've been outside already. We went to 122. Wow, people really want to enter on LTC. Let's see what's the target of this flag. Let's do it like this. And I'm going to put it in both ways because some people are complaining. Sometimes I place it like this because I'm conservative. That gives me 178. But if you want to be aggressive, you can do this and it can give you $205. Price hasn't broken out, but RSI with this candle that is not settled yet is saying that we are about to confirm a breakout and that we defended properly the weekly support. So you are buying at support and at breakout at the same time during this week if LTC holds. And yes, I gave you those targets. Keep an eye on 135. That is the first big resistance. And you can see 4 times it got sold from those areas even before reaching 134. The last time 133. And that is one of the toughest order blocks in the bear market. And let's see what we face if we get to $200. Not that much, really. So maybe the $200 target is not as great. Anyways, that is the technical side for LTC. I just want to check what's going on with the longs. You can see in here a great entry, right? So 9 of September, everybody was short on LTC. And that's how these indicators work. You see that you pinch the percentile of too many shorts and immediately bounce back up. Let's see what price you could have used at that point. At that point, it was $60 and it was the support. So the longs told the shorts, enough, you are too many. Now let's start cracking back up. And definitely those shorts are all gone. So guys, I think I'm going to do a shorter live stream. Not really feeling very well. I still need to get some medicines, and it doesn't really work the health system, and I need to call them because they don't know what they're doing. Anyways, I need those antibiotics to get better finally, and I hope you enjoy the live stream, and I'll see you in another update tonight. I'm doing my best here to keep you informed. I hope you appreciate it. If you do, hit the like, leave comments in the video, and support the channel. That really